Welcome to today's video. We're going to discover the 4 levels of consciousness and how to level up your life to be more happier and even more fulfilled. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Amrit Sandhu and I'm here to help you live a life that you love. Consciousness is the state of being aware and able to perceive our surroundings, thoughts, and feelings. So a large part of our consciousness is awareness and perception. In life, we may not always have control over what is happening to us, but what we do always have control over is our response. It's our responsibility to be able to choose our response wisely. And this can bleed into a whole conversation around destiny, free will, and whether we as human beings have choice. But the reality of the matter is, people have been asking that question forever, and we don't really know whether everything is destined to be, or whether we have complete free will and autonomy and there's no such thing as destiny. However, even if everything is destined and preordained, the one thing that is clear is that we still have a choice, and that choice is how we show up. And I think that's a perfect introduction into the 4 levels of consciousness. In quick summary, level 1, life is happening to you. In level 2, life is happening by you. In level 3, life is happening through you. And in level 4, life is happening as you. Let's dive deeper into what these all mean. In level 1, life is happening to you. Classically, this is labeled as the victimhood stage. So I know victim comes with a lot of baggage and a lot of trauma. There's a lot of denseness around that word, but I can give you an example for level 1. I struggled with 6 years of depression. And in that state, I remember feeling inauthentic, unable to express myself, unable to be my true self. For the life of me at the time, I thought this was just how everybody lived. I thought everybody was walking around masquerading as a version of themselves, and nobody was really in touch with them true selves. And even if they were in touch with their true self, there was no way they could bring that true self to the fore or to the party or into reality and engage with people through that true self. But I remember clearly when I was sitting opposite the psychologist and we finally got the diagnosis, hey Amrit, you've been depressed for what seems to be 6 odd years now. And the key thing she said to me is, you just need to install honesty as a value. Now this was profound because up until this point, life just happened to me. Everything that was happening to me was just a consequence of the drama of society. Everything that was going on in my life, I was just a victim of. I couldn't be my honest self because of this, or I couldn't do this because of that. I couldn't take ownership for anything that was coming my way. And because I couldn't express my most authentic, truest, what was really going on inside, I was locked in this victimhood. To the nth degree, that looks like depression. And perhaps some of you aren't feeling that far gone into your state of victimhood, but just take a moment to audit, where do you feel like you don't have control over how you're being made to feel in your life? In these areas, you're potentially suffering from victimhood and you're in that level 1 consciousness. Now, you notice when I was sitting with a psychologist, she told me, hey, you can install the value of honesty. So the key thing that happened for me there is I started to question my relationship with how I was modulating my awareness, my perceptions of reality. And it's like, okay, so I can potentially shift how I perceive the world by shifting an internal value. Like I can actually, this became an ability to question. Therein lies the key transformational tool to go from level 1 to level 2 consciousness. We call it questioning. You start to question your relationship with reality. Do I really need to be the victim? Do I really need to feel this low? One of the greatest hacks I've ever found for level 1 to level 2 consciousness, to keep yourself in level 2, to go from victimhood to the achiever, is to consistently stay in gratitude. If you can install gratitude, you cannot be the victim. You can never be the victim if you're grateful for what is happening to you. Level 2 then is all about life happening by you. So I started to install the value of honesty, and it wasn't overnight, it took some time. But as I installed it, I started to realize that, I can install values and I can set goals and I can achieve things. Level 2 is all about the achiever. It's about hustling, it's about grinding, and it's like, hey, if I set my mind to it and I set a goal and I set a target, I can go out there and I can get this, I can make this happen. And you may not necessarily believe it up front, but you do try your best to set a target, to set a goal. And when you actually go and make that happen, you start to realize actually you can reprogram your life by setting goals, achieving things, and you become this achiever at level 2 consciousness. Life is no longer victimizing you. You are setting the goals and life is happening on your terms. And you can dictate some of the terms with life. I would like to achieve this, and there I go and I go do it. I would like to achieve this, and there I go and go do it. Requires a little bit of hustle and grind. After you've been doing that for some time, you might have set a series of goals and they got you to a particular point, and then you look back and said, actually, I'm not sure if this was good for me. Sometimes you set a series of goals and you go, I'm just going to keep striving for the next goal and the next goal and the next goal, and I'm not sure if this is actually fulfilling me. And you start to get to this point where it's like, I'm really good at achieving what I want to achieve, but I'm not actually feeling a sense of harmony with where I'm getting to, or I'm not really, the word is fulfillment, right? I'm not really feeling fulfilled by all that I'm achieving. People often talk about flow versus hustle. Should I be hustling or should I be flowing with life? Hustling is all about level 2 consciousness. Flowing is all about level 3. There's no right or wrong. At certain points in your life, level 2 consciousness really serves you, and it serves you to hustle. At other points in life, once you evolve, you start to flow. So it's just a matter of where you're at. In that point, we start to crack into the next place, which is intentions. Now, I'll give an example of what happened in my life as I was transitioning from level 2 to level 3. I remember the inception of this podcast. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, something like that. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I literally purchased the course that helped me set up the podcast. It was 4 a.m. and for the life of me, I still can't tell you what possessed me to do that. It was all about, here's the word, surrender, right? Moving from level 2 to level 3 consciousness is about surrender. Leading into that, for a good 6 months, all of my friends were like, Amrit, you should set up a podcast. You should set up a podcast. At least half a dozen of them were like, I'm having some of the most amazing conversations in my life with you. Please set up a podcast, touch wood. And then I had this mentor appear who was like, hey, let me set you up with a podcast. I really am looking to set up a beta course. Can I set you up with a podcast? The universe had presented these people, and the universe had presented the mentor. So why did I not pull the trigger? I was in my own way, for sure. But when I woke up that morning at 4 a.m., I allowed the energy of the universe to sort of just guide me and allow the two things to cinch as I got myself out of my way. Now that is classic surrender. And level 3 is all about life happening through you. Do you see how I got out of my way? Mentor, friends, life is happening through me. I've gotten myself out of the way because I'm Mr. Achiever. Life has to happen by me. And I let that go and I allowed the flow. And that's the key word. Level 3 is the flower, right? If level 1 is the victim, level 2 is the achiever, level 3 is the flower, right? It's all about flow. Now going from level 3 to level 4, I'm not level 4, so I can't really prescribe to you how to do that. There are plenty of people that advocate things such as deep meditation practices. There are entire spiritual paths dedicated to this. The core fundamental tenets within religions are dedicated to this. And even some people believe traveling to South America, some of the work in the jungles is dedicated to this. But level 4 is all about enlightenment, right? Level 4, life is happening as you. You are in this unity consciousness, right? There's the transformation from level 3 to 4. The self dissolves and you are one with all that is. Now, there are probably, some of the experts believe, maybe 5 to 10 people on the planet alive in this state of consciousness right now. A person that I think is really at level 4 consciousness that's alive right now is Amma. For those that don't know Amma, we'll put a link in the description below. She travels the world giving hugs to everybody that shows up at her doorstep. Doesn't matter who you are. Many people believe in the healing powers of her hugs, just her touch, her time, her presence. And people have queued for hours to see her, and she patiently is sitting there hugging everybody that comes past her door. For me, there's an example of someone that's living in level 4 consciousness. She has potentially the power of healing, she has the enlightened state, and she's gracing everybody as one, seeing them for who they are, as they are, and whatever needs they need. she's meeting them with grace. So whereabouts do you feel like you are right now? Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 consciousness. Level 1, life is always, you're a victim of it. Level 2, you're out there and you're achieving and you're hustling and you're grinding. Level 3, you're all about flow and hey, there's a sign or a synchronicity here. For those in level 3, synchronicity becomes a big part of the conversation. And level 4, if you're tuning in, I do wonder what you're doing on YouTube. No disrespect to all those that are tuning into YouTube. Obviously, we're all here inspired to evolve. As your brother, I'm super inspired to be walking this path by your side. And for those of you that are inspired to realize what level 3 consciousness looks like, where life is happening through you, check out one of the conversations we've had with Neil Donald Walsh, Here or Here. He allowed God to literally transcribe his thoughts through Neil. Check out these episodes now.